I did not piece that together. Alright, so as we jump into things, I think we have to head by Grisco. I think we gotta, for the extra work last week. I know we didn't do extra work on stream, but I did it off stream. We might have something. Oh, see, I got a top 50. Okay, that's neat. I don't think we get anything for that. But, like, cool, I did it. I had one really good run, right? Where we were doing good, we got top 50. Other than that, all my other runs, eh. And hey, we got a bronze sticker. I'll take it. Alright, now we can jump into Turf War. Do our Turf War thing. So tonight we've got 3 news stories. I'm gonna talk about Nintendo Land stuff, because why not talk about Nintendo Land stuff? So we got that. That's our first big thing. We're going to talk about... Oh, what is it called? We're going to talk about... Oh, Xbox. Phil Spencer did the interview circuit this week. We got some Xbox like details. Plus, Xbox announced their new campaign. Their big new marketing campaign. And you know what? It seems interesting. Yeah, color me curious. I mean, it's advertising at the end of the day, so we're not actually going to talk about the ad part that much, but the other things I'm interested in. That's for sure. And then we're going to talk about Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, because there was some news about that today that has kind of been developing and getting more complicated. And there's a band episode that maybe got leaked that I've maybe allegedly watched. Allegedly. Not actually, but allegedly. And I've allegedly know what happens in it, so we're allegedly going to talk about it. And then we got a lot of WIBE stuff. We got a bunch of food stuff this week. We've got some anime and I guess some other TV stuff. Not Arcane, but we've got some other stuff. I watched an anime for the first time in a while. And then we got some game stuff, you know, we got like 2 things. Because I played a little bit of videos game. Not much, but a little bit, so we'll talk about that as well. So I guess let's just jump into it. So Nintendo held one of their, you know, semi-regular, you know, they happen every once in a while, in a new episode in the Miyamoto Explains series, where Miyamoto shows you around and explains stuff. And, you know, it's a lovely little series, you know. It's kind of fun, you know, to see Miyamoto go around and explain some stuff. So we got to see Miyamoto go around and explain the new Donkey Kong Land. It comes to Universal Studios Japan in a month, like December 11th. And then it comes to the Florida, the new Epic Universe Park in Florida in May? I think it's in May. I know we talked about Epic Universe on a previous show, and how Epic Universe actually looks pretty neat. From everything I've seen so far, I don't know, man. I think it's really cool that they're doing drones that are dragons. Like, that's kind of cool. Right? Like, remember when Disney was talking about doing a dragon theme park thing? And then they just scrapped it because Animal Kingdom was not very well thought out. Not very well budgeted, maybe. Maybe that's the better term to use. But yeah, so we got to see this new Donkey Kong Land. You know, it's what you'd expect from the Donkey Kong Land. It's themed very well. You know, they've got good ambience, they've got good music. The set design is good. Nintendo puts a lot of care into these. You know, Nintendo makes good stuff when they've got a hand on the wheel. And when it comes to theme parks like this, yeah, theme parks, movies, kind of doesn't matter. Nintendo keeps one hand on the wheel at all times. And they're gonna put it through the ringer. So this looks interesting, right? We got to see the entrance, you know, it's got the classical Donkey Kong hut. It's got the big golden banana temple. No K. Rool. I know some people are disappointed by that. Instead, it's all about, the Tiki tribe from Donkey Kong Country Returns. The Tiki tribe is okay. I don't hate them. I just, you know, I feel like with his resurgence in Smash Bros, we need a resurgence of K. Rool. Like, he did well in Smash Bros. People were excited to see him. As far as I've heard, he's a decent character. You know, people just want more K. Rool. And the fact that he hasn't been in a Donkey Kong game in a long time, people really want another Donkey Kong Country game. Right, some sort of follow-up to Tropical Freeze would always be nice. Because Tropical Freeze was fantastic. Tropical Freeze is amazing, if you've never played it. I know DK Returns is really good as well. I haven't played it in a decade, and it's got Wii motion controls, so it's got problems. But hopefully the Switch remake fixes all that. I know the 3DS remake did. Yeah, we get to see, like, a Donkey Kong guy in a suit. And honestly, I really like the Donkey Kong suit. Actually, it looks better than I thought it was going to be. And I think all the animatronics. In the trailer, you see a Cranky Kong animatronic. You see a Squawks animatronic. You see Dixie Kong. We haven't seen Diddy Kong yet. But, you know, you see the rest. It all looks very good. There's a lot of good attention to detail there. I love the Pikmin in the Donkey Kong, in the classic Donkey Kong barrel thing, right? Where they do the original 81 game. That's very cute. That's very fun. You know, because there's also little Pikmin figures at Super Nintendo, like in the Mario Park. So now Pikmin are represented in both parks. That's how you can tell Miyamoto had a hand in this, because he loves to throw in references like that. Because he just loves Pikmin, man. If it wasn't for Miyamoto, we never would have got a Pikmin 3 or a Pikmin 4. It's literally only because it's Miyamoto's baby that we keep getting those games. There's also a Rambi animatronic, and you see a little, like, a drum mini game where you play the drums and it makes Rambi pop out. And I saw someone being like, oh, I'd be fucking seething if we go to Donkey Kong Land and the little, like, 3-year-old next to me doesn't do good enough playing the drums, and we don't get to see Rambi. I'd be so mad. Obviously, they were making a joke, but it's pretty funny. But yeah, it presumably works like the Super Mario Land one, where you've got, like, these little places where you can scan your wristband that connect to the app. There's a Donkey Kong wristband that I think always existed. There's a Diddy Kong wristband that might have always existed. They'll probably make some others. Yeah, it's neat. I think that's what I can say about the Donkey Kong Land. Like, if you had asked me you know, with them doing Mario Land first, if you had asked me what land they should do second, I probably wouldn't have said Donkey Kong. You know, I would have loved to see, especially in Universal's Epic Universe amusement park, I would have loved to have seen, like, Zelda. But, you know, Donkey Kong's not bad. I get the theming makes sense. I think the minecart ride is really neat. I love how, right, because it's basically how the minecart ride works, is you've got two layers. You've got the top layer, which is, right, the minecart you're riding in. It's a 4-person cart, and it's on, like, a minecart track. But that's not, like, the minecart track isn't actually on the minecart rails. They're all just props, and the real cart, and the cart's like attached by like a handle to the actual coaster down below. So that way, you know, the cart can like shoot out of a barrel and jump the track and do fun Donkey Kong stuff like that. Is this a thing I've seen in rides before? Not that I can think of. I'm sure, like, this isn't the first time this has been done, obviously. But I think it's good theming. I think it looks nice. I've seen some videos of, like, the coaster, and, like, you know, we see the one clip of it in that direct. But I've seen a few other things. It looks neat. It looks neat. I think it's interesting. So yeah, that's all fun and games. They have a gift shop, right? Funky Kong's gonna have his own gift shop. Is there gonna be a Funky Kong animatronic in the Funky Kong gift shop? I hope so. Or even just a guy in a suit. I'd take a guy in a Diddy Kong suit and a guy in a Funky Kong suit would be very fun. I really like that idea. Okay, maybe not the Diddy Kong suit one, because, I don't know, it'd be very lanky. And, you know, I don't want, that's kind of whatever. But other than that, I think the the Funky Kong would be fun. They also showed off, there's like a barrel confectionery, like a... Right, there's like a banana confectionaries where they're selling treats and whatnot. We see this big Donkey Kong barrel sundae. Of course, you gotta get the bananas in there, you know, all fun and games. It looks fine. There's a hot dog, it's a hot dog with an avocado sauce. It kind of looked like mashed potatoes, if I'm being honest. Like they like whipped up some mashed potatoes and like piped it on. But I'm pretty sure it's like an avocado sauce, if I remember correctly. And then it's got Doritos on it. I don't know, it might be good. I know Disneyland has some crazy hot dogs that I've heard are actually really good. Like, I don't know, I've been watching Keith Eats the Venue at the Disneyland theme parks. And there was one of them, I want to say it was Hollywood Studios, where he got a hot dog in like ribbon fries that looked so fucking good. It might have been like a bacon mac and cheese dog. I don't know. It was something along those lines. Either way, it looked very good. I was super invested in that. Oh, we should talk about... I should remember to talk about Try Guys stuff when we get to the TV stuff. But yeah, no, I think that all the Donkey Kong stuff looks fine. Again, hopefully the food in the Epic Universe Park is better than the California Park. Because supposedly the food at the California Park is awful. I also don't know if the Epic Universe Park in the Mario Land, is it going to have the Yoshi ride? Because in Japan, there's a Mario Kart ride, which is like one of those like the Buzz Lightyear ride where it's like a shooter, but you're with like goggles, AR goggles. But there's also like a Yoshi ride, which is, you know, just kind of cute. And the American version in California only has the Mario Kart ride. So I wonder if the Epic Universe one's going to have the Yoshi ride, or if it's just going to have the Mario Kart one. I don't know, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Am I going to this Donkey Kong Land anytime soon? No, I haven't been to a theme... I haven't been to a theme park since before the pandemic. Alright, I have not been to that new Star Wars land. I haven't been to... other things. I say new Star Wars land. Star Wars land opened in like 2018. If not, I think it was 2018. 2018 sounds right. So yeah, am I going to this? No, but eventually one day I will get to this. Eventually one day I will check this out and it will be cool. But that ain't today. Anything else I got on this Donkey Kong Land? No, it opens up next month, and it opens up in, yeah, I think May. Along with all the other theme parks at Epic Universe, which there's How to Train Your Dragon Land. I don't think there's a Game of... I know it's another Harry Potter land. Is there a DreamWorks land? Is there a Shrek Swamp? I honestly, the only Epic Universe ones I can really remember is there's a Mario and Donkey Kong one, there's a Harry Potter one, and there's a How to Train Your Dragon one. I swear there's one more that's like Universal's take on like Pixar Pier, but hopefully better than Pixar Pier, because I know people don't like Pixar Pier. Right. Oh boy, did I somehow end up on the side of the YouTube that was just people complaining about the Incredible Coaster. Yeah, people do not like the Incredible Coaster from my understanding. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever even been to Pixar Pier or... well, whatever it was called before Pixar Pier. I don't think I have. I don't know. I might have gone past it, because... I don't know. It's Disney. There's a lot to do in only so much time. So yeah, I think that's all I got on that. So the next thing we got to talk about is Xbox. So Phil Spencer made the rounds this week, specifically because Xbox launched this new campaign for their new This is an Xbox ad, right? The whole thing is, you know, Xbox is more than just the actual console Xbox. You know, they've also got streaming services. They put their games out on other systems. Right? Being a fan of Xbox doesn't just mean owning an Xbox Series X, an Xbox One, an Xbox Series S. Right? It doesn't just mean owning one of those systems. Like, I have a Samsung TV. And there's a feature on Samsung TVs where you can just go in and stream your games from Xbox on the TV. Like, I remember they were advertising that when it got added to my TV. So that's kind of like the whole thing of the ad. It's like, hey, your phone can play Xbox games. It's an Xbox. Your TV can play Xbox games. Your Amazon Fire Stick, Roku, whatever it is, that can play Xbox games. Right? Like, that's the whole idea behind this ad campaign. It's right, this is an Xbox. Let me see if I can give you some... Of course, there's some jokes in there that's like, oh, this is not an Xbox, this is a cat box. This isn't an Xbox, this is a toast box. Yeah, like, it shows an Xbox. This is an Xbox, your laptop. This is an Xbox, your Steam Deck. This is a cat box. This is your Xbox that goes on a wall. This is your Xbox that makes calls. This is a bento box. This is an Xbox on the inside. This is an Xbox that you wear, and it's like a MetaQuest. And yeah, I mean, because again, you can play Xbox games. And then, of course, that doesn't even include, like, the Xbox games that are on other systems. On my Switch, I have both the Ori games. I have both the Doom games. And I have Cuphead. All of those are Xbox games. But guess what? They've released on other consoles. So in a way, that makes my Switch an Xbox. So that's kind of the idea behind this ad campaign. You know, I get it. Because for a long time, I've said Xbox Game Pass is one of the best deals in gaming. And while, yes, it gets a little worse every year, especially because they raise the prices every year, I still think it's a pretty good deal. There are a lot of great games on Xbox Game Pass, especially if you've never owned an Xbox. Yeah, there's a lot of good games on there that I do recommend. And that's not even... And, like, there's a bunch of great indie stuff as well. As a big indie game guy, a lot of great indie games have been on Game Pass. A lot of them have been removed from Game Pass, but there's a lot of them that are still on there. And, you know, you can play the best game ever made. Starfield, you know? Everyone's favorite Bethesda game that everyone loves so much. I actually do like Starfield, but that's another story for another day. So close to getting a triple kill. I swear the other guy was around here somewheres. Oh, he's up there. But yeah, I don't know. Honestly, if this was the story, just Xbox's new ad campaign, we wouldn't even be talking about this. But like I said, Phil Spencer went on the, you know, talk show circuit leading up to the reveal of this ad campaign. And so he met with Jason Schreier over at, oh, what does Jason, wait, okay, give me a second. I'm blanking, what Jason Schreier works for. Bloomberg. Bloomberg. So he met up with Jason Schreier at Bloomberg, and they talked about a few things over there. So he mentioned that Xbox is actually working on a handheld system, right? In this whole marketing push, one of the things they bring up is the Steam Deck, right? Your Steam Deck is an Xbox. And yeah, they have admitted that, hey, they're working on a handheld. It's not going to be for years, right? It's years away at this point. So it's not like next year Xbox is going to reveal, you know, the Xbox Series Y, which is an Xbox you can take on the go. I actually don't hate the idea of, like, the Xbox Series Z, because right before you're limited to, like, 2 dimensions of, like, hey, you can either put the Xbox on your dashboard or something, on your desk, on your entertainment center, but now with the Xbox Series Z, you can take it anywheres and everywheres. I don't hate that idea, actually. I don't know. They're kind of doomed with the naming convention from the start. But he talks about how this is, you know, they're working on it behind the scenes. Unlike PlayStation and Nintendo that keep everything a secret, Xbox is usually actually a little bit more open. Xbox, right, they're more willing to talk about these things, right? Phil Spencer is more willing to be like, yeah, you know what, we're working on it. It's not going to be for a while, but we're working on it. And yeah, would I buy an Xbox handheld? Probably not. Specifically because of something like the Steam Deck. Because if you can buy a Steam Deck and then just get Xbox Game Pass on your Steam Deck, I feel like something that specifically does just Xbox would be less appealing. Right? Does that make sense? Like, if these portable Steam, right? If the Xbox Steam Deck or the Xbox handheld was a Windows machine that ran Windows games and that you could get Steam on, I think it'd be more appealing, right? There'd be a lot more potential there, because yes, you can do Xbox Game Pass, but you can also do Steam. You can also, you know, do any other Windows program in theory. You know, you could get the Epic Games Store. You know, sometimes I wonder if I'm just allergic to, like, my room. You know, where I film in. Because it only ever happened... Like, I can talk for hours at, like, work and whatnot. But the second we sit down to stream here every Friday night, I just get all gunked up. I wonder if I'm just allergic to my room. God, could that be it? That might be it. Or maybe it's like all the dust and whatnot. God, should I get an air purifier just to test that out? God, but air purifiers are fucking expensive. Probably. Oh my god. Real quick side tangent. I bought a heater. Because, you know, reasons. It's fucking cold. You know, it's funny. We went from, like, one of the hottest Octobers in record to now just freezing temperatures in like a week. It's crazy. But so I bought a heater. Well, technically I bought it a while ago, but it got recalled. My heater got recalled by the FTC. Is it the FTC? I don't know. Whoever issues product recalls. They recalled my heater the other day. Well, it was like on Monday, but yeah. That's fucking crazy. So now I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with that. Okay, that side tangents aside. So during the other things Phil Spencer said during the interview, he is happy with Xbox's performance on Switch. You know, be that Ori and the Blind Forest, Cuphead, anything else. He is happy with how Xbox is doing on Switch. And you know what? That's because, again, I like the idea. I would play the Halo games again if they were on Switch or Switch 2. That's the thing that would get me to play Halo again. Because I have not played Halo since probably Reach, if I'm being honest. And I would love to give them another shot, you know, play... I don't care about 5, but I'd love to... I remember 4 being decent from what I heard. So I'd love to give 4 a shot. I'd love to play 2 again. I love 2 so much. Me and my friends used to play 2. Man, I love 2. I would love to give that another shot. It's been so long. So yeah, if they bring the Master Chief Collection, I know I say this all the time. One day it's probably going to happen. But, you know, hearing that, hey, guess what? Xbox likes their relationship with Switch. They're going to continue their relationship with Switch outside of, you know, contractual obligations. Call of Duty, cough, cough. Right. The fact that things are going to continue, that's always a good sign. Xbox, they came out and said that basically nothing's off limits. Because when it comes to bringing other games to other consoles, right, there's nothing that's like off limits, that's like, no, we're not going to do this, right? Like, they don't have a rule that says, oh, Halo is our franchise. Only Xbox gets Halo. We're never going to put it on anything ever. No, it's more of like a, yeah, there's no red lines when it comes to PlayStation or Xbox. Which I know some people will say is like a bad move that, oh no, one of the things that sells consoles is those console exclusivity. And yeah, like that is true. Console exclusivity does sell consoles. But timed exclusivity also sells consoles. Maybe, especially if you announce a game to be coming to your console and don't announce it coming to other consoles until afterwards. Like, we already know Halo, or Indiana Jones, I mean. We know Indiana Jones is coming to PlayStation next year. I think it's like, what, 6-month timed exclusivity or something like that. But, you know... I know some people get mad either way. You know, if it's making money for Xbox, you know, if it's driving competition, then yeah, I'm all for it. Again, I have a lot of problems with, you know, a lot of the big cuts and acquisitions Activision, or that Microsoft has done of companies like Activision, Blizzard, King. Yeah, you know, anything that drives competition between these companies is good. Because I don't want any mergers or acquisitions. I mean, is somebody probably going to buy up Ubisoft in the next year? Probably, because Ubisoft's pretty fucked right now. And they've been trying to get acquired by somebody other than, like, NetEase for years. Specifically PlayStation. I know there's been a lot of talks of, right, they want to get themselves hired by PlayStation, that they want to get bought out by PlayStation. I know in Nintendo's recent earnings call, someone asked a question about, like, hey, would you consider buying up another studio? And Nintendo was like, you know what, we haven't written it off the table yet. Right? Like, if something comes along, maybe. Do I think Nintendo will buy Ubisoft? No. No, not at all. It'd just be too out of their wheelhouse. But, you know... And Ubisoft wants to get bought by somebody. They very clearly do. Because they're not doing too well, exactly. Speaking of all, like, the mergers, acquisition, and buyouts. So, right, because of all these mergers, acquisitions, and buyouts, Xbox has fired a lot of people. Right, this year in the gaming industry has seen thousands of people, probably tens of thousands of people at this point, who lost their job, right, who got hired by Xbox or any other one of these numbers of studios. And Phil Spencer, as part of this interview, came out and was like, you know what, we're done with big cuts. Right? That, hey, since they acquired Activision Blizzard King, they did their round of big cuts. They're done with big cuts. Is that actually going to be true? Time will tell. There's a part of me that hopes it is, because, you know, so many people have lost their job this year. And going into a Trump economy, like, fuck, so many more people are going to lose their jobs. So there's a part of me that hopes that, yeah, you know, Xbox is able to keep up this, and they're able to keep on their staff, hopefully grow a little, get some more people in, you know, give some more people jobs. But it's totally possible that, no, they just keep... Boom, we come to January next year, a full year after their first round of cuts. And here we are, round of cuts, part 2. I don't know, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But I would sadly not be surprised. And then, the final thing about this Xbox stuff, not in the Jason Schreier interview, but in a different interview, basically Phil Spencer said that, yes, Xbox is not done making consoles. Because, right, with Xbox putting all their games on third parties, there are some people who are like, yeah, Xbox should stop making consoles, or... My personal take has always been Xbox should just become a brand of PC. Kind of like, you know, Alienware, or... Insert second example here that I can't think of. I don't know, I can see Xbox being a brand of PC. You know, like a gaming PC kind of brand. You know, maybe they kind of shift themselves to, you know... be like that. I can see that. But no, yeah, you know, I mean, time will tell, obviously. But yeah, it basically said that no, Xbox isn't done making consoles. Well, we will in the future see the Xbox Series X2, Xbox Series X squared. Yeah, we'll see whatever it is. You know, that doesn't surprise me, obviously. Like, of course they're going to keep pushing. You know, are we going to get a mid-year refresh next year? Did we kind of get a mid-year refresh this year? Kind of? Question mark? Not really. I mean, we got the new 2 terabyte version that had some other performance upgrades, but... yeah, we'll see. We shall see. So yeah, you know, Xbox is still just kind of trucking along. I'll be honest, I forget about them most of the time. I kind of forget that Xbox is... because, you know, I use my PlayStation every blue moon. I use my Switch all the time. Xbox is just kind of there. But, you know, back in, like, during the Xbox One days, it was really easy to shit on Xbox. It was really easy to make fun of Xbox. And did I? Of course I did. But nowadays, the console wars are over. I don't care anymore. I watched Bill Gates beat that guy to death on South Park, and I was kind of like, yeah, you know what? The console wars are over. I'm good. God, that was like 2013. That was over a decade ago. That's crazy. Speaking of South Park, they put out a statement that was like someone asked, like, hey, now that Donald Trump's the president again, are you guys gonna come back, right? Because normally this is when South Park airs their new season. So people are like, oh, is the show gonna start up again right now? And Mantra are like, no, we'll start again in the new year. We just don't know what else to say about Trump. You know, we kind of said everything we wanted to. You know, we're just gonna kind of wait for the moment. Of course, is he gonna be back? Yeah, because they even at the end in the last season, they even kind of tease that, you know what, he might be back. Turns out he was. Turns out, and out of nowhere, Palpatine returned. All of a sudden, isn't as stupid a line as it previously was thought to be. Still fucking stupid, but not as stupid. Because somehow Palpatine did return. So speaking of politics, So, earlier today, this might have started earlier than today, but the first time I saw talk about this was earlier today. There was talks about a new episode of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. If you don't know, this is a Disney TV show produced by Lawrence Fishburne. It's animated for Disney Channel. It's not in the MCU, but it's like MCU adjacent. Like, they make references to like MCU-ish stuff every once in a while. And it's really fucking good. Like, I love the animation in this show so much. It's really well animated. It's very fun. It's very creative. It's got some great characters, some good moments. All around, just a great show. An easy recommendation for me. Yeah, I really do like Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. And earlier this year, I was really surprised when they announced that the show had been canceled. That they have one more set of episodes coming out sometime next year for, like, Season 2B. And then that's it. The show's over, right? It stopped production months ago. And that sucks, because the show was really good. Everyone I knew loved it. So I was really surprised that it was canceled. And then earlier today, or maybe yesterday, yeah, this tweet was posted yesterday. It was breaking news: a fully completed episode of Marvel's TV series Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, set for early season 2, has been shelved due to the party that won the recent election. One crew member on the show even went on to call this a lost media episode. And this comes from Lost Media Buster over on Twitter. And so this is the post. So I guess I finally got hit with one of the project's episodes I worked on is getting shelved because of which party won the recent election. It breaks my heart knowing the impact of this impactful and amazing is now about to become considered lost media. So that's one of the people who worked on it. And then, of course, later on, Disney did come out and respond and be like, no, actually, this isn't lost. Oh, no, we didn't pull this because of the election. This had nothing to do with that. There was something along the lines of, we actually had decided to pull this episode months prior, and it's not actually lost media. We're still considering if we're going to release it or not. Basically, the second the backlash started, Disney kind of, tried to, back up and be like, no, we don't actually mean this, right? We didn't actually do this. Because Disney wants to be an ally, but they only want to be an ally in name only. The second they actually have to stand and deliver, they shrivel like the fucking worms they are. Right? And so, so what is this episode? Okay, wait. Before we get to actually what this episode is, this episode, that was, potentially lost media, has since leaked. That basically someone on, Disney Toon on Twitter, also known as Owlphobia, posted the episode. It's on YouTube. It, of course, got taken down off YouTube, but you can still, supposedly, find this lost episode on Internet Archive. Right, and you may want to go look that up and, maybe download it so that way you can spread it to other places. Maybe, allegedly, I don't know. Have I seen this episode? Maybe, allegedly, probably not. Maybe, allegedly. You never know, right? Should I tell you exactly where to find this episode? Yeah, allegedly. So what is this episode about? So when this whole news story broke, someone was like, oh yeah, you look at the episode, and there's this subtle little thing in it, and you'll see oh, this is why the episode got shelved by Disney. And so I was like, oh, okay, there's gonna be hinting at it. I got the hint that it had something to do with trans kids in sports. So I was like, okay, that's right. Presumably one of the characters is trans and they're in sports, right? And that's why the episode's shelved. Again, political climate and everything. The tweet made it sound subtle. This episode is as subtle as a bag of bricks, and I love it for that. That, no, it's not just like, oh, this isn't just like some background detail. No, the whole fucking plot of the episode is about that. And I love it for that. I think this is a fantastic episode. This is the type of thing that would have sucked to have been lost media. Right? Because this episode is going to mean the world to people. This is the type of thing that people are going to herald this as like a champion. And of course, Disney now gets none of the credit for it because they tried to hide it. They tried to bury it. They tried to kill it because Disney doesn't actually care about trans people. They say they do, but when push comes to shove, they will throw them under the bus instantly. So what is the episode allegedly about, right? What actually allegedly happens in this episode? It's called The Gatekeeper. So, right, it's about gatekeepers. So the episode primarily focuses on the volleyball team. Now, we had met characters in the volleyball team in multiple previous episodes. The only name I can remember is Brooklyn, who is the focus of the episode. She's the only name I can remember. But there's a non-binary character in the volleyball team. One of the characters wears a hijab. You know, it's a diverse team, but I really like them. The one episode with them, the sleepover episode, is really good. It's a really good episode. And yeah, I would say the standout character in that episode is Brooklyn, if only because of her and her stupid brother. That's really good and really funny. Right, her hating on her brother's Lego set or model trains or whatever it was. I think it was a model city. Yeah, it's a good fun episode. And yeah, in this episode, Brooklyn is revealed to be trans. That right, they used to play on the boys soccer team, but now that they've come out, they play on the girls volleyball team. And of course, the team they're playing against, the coach, who I meant to look at the voice actress's name for. She sounds so familiar, I just can't peg it off the top of my head. The coach of the other team is transphobic, right? She's a TERF, right? She claims to be a feminist, you know, she's constantly saying, like, girl power and whatnot, but she doesn't want Brooklyn to play because Brooklyn is trans. She considers that breaking the rules. So basically, Moon Girl isn't in, right? Like, Lunella is in this episode. She never becomes Moon Girl in this entire episode. Because basically, right, gatekeeping is the TERF has a key that locks them in, like, basically like an evil escape room. And while they have to solve these puzzles to get to through the evil escape room. And that's kind of like the main challenge. I will talk about spoilers here in a minute. But I do want to, put up a spoiler barrier that, there's stuff that goes on beyond this. But that's the big thing, is, right, this TERF doesn't want her to play, so, and they even, right, because they have a non-binary character, and they make a joke about how, like, oh, don't tell her I'm non-binary, or else her head will explode. The TERF, and that's fucking funny. But yeah, it's just Lunella and the volleyball team trying to work their way through these puzzles. And of course, they're trying to support Brooklyn, right? That she doesn't have to do this alone. You know, she's not a burden on her friends. They let her, right? Let them help. It's really good. It's a really good episode. And yeah, this would have been a shame to be a piece of lost media. Because this, you know, for any trans person in sports, this is going to mean the world to you. Because this hits the issue perfectly. Points out all the hypocrisy, points out all the bullshit. Because, okay, I'm just gonna put the spoiler right now. Go watch the episode. You can supposedly find it places. Internet Archive. Allegedly, supposedly, maybe. I don't know, you didn't hear that from me. But basically, the main takeaway of the message, which this is wild, by the way, is that the main takeaway is that the systems in place will be used against trans people. They will be weaponized against trans people. And the only way to do anything about it is to break the system. That's the whole point of the episode, right? Because once they get through the escape room puzzle, they get all 20 keys, it just restarts the escape room. Right? They have to do it all over again, and they're defeated. You get this really tear-jerking moment, and then they realize that, yeah, in order to escape the escape room, they need to stop playing by the rules, and they literally break down the floor, right? They break through the floor and make their own exit. They find their own way out. They play the escape room game by their own rules. It's great messaging. It's a fantastic episode. On top of everything else in it. So yeah, there's a part of me that totally gets along, right? Transphobic company Disney, alleged transphobic company Disney would pull this. Because, right, they are part of the system that benefits from transphobia. Right? Of course they're not going to do anything about it, because they're, they benefit from transphobia. Right? A transphobe dollar is the same as a non-transphobe dollar in their eyes. And, with an incoming Republican legislature, right, that's just going to create even more problems. I mean, we already know Ron DeSantis has been going to war with Disney over stuff like this, even though, again, in the past, Disney didn't... I may be misremembering things. It's been a while. Didn't Disney allegedly back a bill in Florida to keep trans women out of sports? Wasn't that something that happened? It was something along those lines allegedly happened. So yeah, fuck Disney. Fuck Disney. Fuck them for trying to pull this. They could have earned a lot of credibility for making this episode. I mean, would it have undone the other things they've did? Probably not, but it at least would have earned them some credit. And now, not only do they get nothing, they get the opposite of nothing. Even if they do go out and officially, release this episode, they still get the opposite of credit for it, because they tried to cover it up in the first place. Yeah, fuck Disney. But yeah, this episode is fantastic. The ending is great. Because, yeah, at the end of the day, they play their game, and even the TERF's daughter wants to play them, right? Right? Considers this all cheating, and that, right, it'd be better to beat them by their own merits. Yeah, no, this is a fantastic episode, and an already fantastic show. Because the show has covered issues like this, maybe my favorite episode in the show is the gentrification episode. I love that episode so much. Because of how it tackles its issues. And yeah, this one is fantastic. I really do love it. I think they handled the issue perfectly. So yeah, I highly recommend going out to, right, if you can find a copy of it, go watch it. I'm glad this isn't lost media. And because this show is really something special. It truly is. It is fantastic at what it does. I'm really glad it's so good at what it does. And, honestly, and if you told me the reason this show got canceled was because of this episode, right, in the same way the Owl House got canceled for its LGBTQ themes, or Steven Universe got canceled for its LGBTQ themes, I would in no way be surprised. If that's the reason Disney kiboshed this project, that would in no way surprise me. Because that's just the company Disney is. They claim support, and then they do the exact opposite. Fuck Disney. Go watch this episode. It's really good. It is a really good episode. Highest of recommendations. And it's the only show like this that I can think that makes an episode like this. Especially for, the younger demographic. Because this is something, the younger demographic. This isn't like a baby show. This isn't, fucking Bluey or Handy Manny. This is, a show for young adults and teenagers. And these are real things that they are either experiencing themselves in their own, high school, middle school sports, or that their peers are experiencing. Of course this is appropriate for them. And yeah, the episode tackles it with all the grace it needs to. And you know, even if this had been a show like Bluey discussing this, I totally think Bluey could have pulled something like this off. Because they're fucking Bluey. It's what they're good at. But yeah, I think this is a great episode. High recommendation. Highest of high recommendations. So that's all I got to say about that. Anything else? Yeah, fuck Disney. So now, I guess let's talk about some other things. Let's do WIBE stuff. So we got some food stuff to talk about. I actually have a lot this week on food. So in previous weeks we've talked about Sonic Burger, and they have like this new like butter brew, which is basically their take on like butter beer from Harry Potter. Oh, fuck Harry Potter as well. I keep getting ads on HBO Max for this Harry Potter baking show. Fuck Harry Potter. Fuck the turf J.K. Rowling. She's a fucking asshole. God, I hate Harry Potter so much. But, okay, so I've talked about this butter brew, how I think it's good. But I also talked in the past, right, Sonic has a red velvet shake that I have not tried. Well, that I had not tried at the time, because, again, it's only so much sweet you can take at a time. I finally got to try it. I had a half-price shake coupon, and I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll pick it up on the way home from work. And you know what? It was pretty good. I do like red velvet. I think red velvet's pretty good. And yeah, I do enjoy this red velvet shake. Is it like a must-get? Like, go out and get it right now? I don't know about that. I don't think anything we're talking about this week is like a you have to go get this right now thing. But I liked it. I liked it more than the other dessert we're going to talk about. But yeah, you know, it's a red velvet shake. I like Sonic shakes. I know they're not for everyone. You know, they're pretty low down on the ice cream like tier list. But they're cheaper than some other options. Especially when you get it at half price. And yeah, for what it was, I enjoyed it. But that butter brew, I still really do like. I don't know what it is about that thing, but I really do like that. And because, you know, I've tried to make my own, like, butter beer in the past, and it just doesn't come out the way I like it. Right? Like, I don't know what they use in this, but it works. It works in a way that I've tried and can't get to work. Because I'm not really a soda... okay, so this one guy on TikTok, they've been doing the thing where they've been... this week, they've been posting videos about how anything that works in coffee also works in Coke. So, right, or I guess vice versa, right? So it's like, hey, if you have a coffee, and you know, you can put cherry and vanilla syrups in it, and like a cherry vanilla Coke is like a thing. And yeah, cherry vanilla coffee also works. Right? So of course they try that, they try a few other things, right? They try putting, well, you can't put, coffee stuff in carbonated soda because the carbonation curdles the milk. If you get non-carbonated Coke, you can put like milk in it and it actually tastes decent, supposedly. I don't know. I'm not really a flavor soda guy, but it's been interesting to watch those experiments. You know, I find, like, I'm not a coffee guy either, but like I find people who like there's a show on TikTok that's basically like Will It Espresso. Like, oh, we're gonna put this crazy thing in an espresso machine. What will it do? Honey? Oh, honey in an espresso machine? Like honeycomb? Delicious, supposedly. Green tea, on the other hand, bitterest thing in existence. Supposedly green tea is awful. But yeah, it's a real interesting thing. But yeah, I'm not really a flavor guy, but maybe I should be. Like, maybe I should become a flavor guy. I mean, I like cherry flavoring. I like eating dead parasites and... What was the other... Is beaver anus the other cherry flavoring? I don't remember. It's something... I don't know. That might have been one of those high school rumors, like the Marilyn Manson thing. But, yeah, you know, I like stuff like that. I'm just not a big Coke guy. I know we've talked about this before. Like, I don't like Coca-Cola. It just ain't for me. I used to when I was younger, but nowadays, nah. I stick to my good old Mountain Dew, which is probably way worse. But, oh, is it good? Oh, that's great. Alright, we went on a tangent there. The next thing I tried, I went to Wendy's. Wendy's had a salted caramel frosty and a mushroom burger. What was it? It was it's not mushroom Swiss. It's mushroom something. Mushroom Asiago? Is it? I don't know. Let's talk about the caramel thing first. So a salted caramel frosty. I like caramel. You know, I can rock with the caramel every once in a while. Not always, but you know, sometimes it's really good. Oh, it's just a mushroom bacon cheeseburger. Okay. So yeah, I tried this caramel frosty. Yeah, I can taste the caramel. It's okay, but I don't think it's great. Like, I was way more impressed with the pineapple mango they had for the SpongeBob collab than I am with this. It's okay. Yeah, you definitely get that salted caramel. I feel like it'd be better maybe like as like a syrup like the SpongeBob one, or maybe if you took this and blended it with a chocolate, or maybe I would do it like 1/3 this, 2/3 chocolate. I think that would be good potentially. I don't know. I in a lot of ways I think of caramel as like a topping for something else. Very rarely do I get caramel on its own. Right? Like I put caramel on, right? Chocolate, vanilla, you know, cupcakes, brownies, stuff like that. I make caramel. God, I haven't made caramel in a while because the last time my caramel was so fucking... I think I overdid it, right, where it was too thick. And, oh my god, it was like biting through glue, man. It was... or I guess rubber was the better comparison there. It was rough. It was rough either way. And I haven't made caramel since. I fucked it up so bad. I tried. I definitely... I either cooked it for too long, or I cooked it too hot. I can't remember which one. Man, no, it was okay. I definitely, if I'm right between the two desserts, right, the red velvet or the caramel, I would definitely recommend the red velvet. Is the caramel frosty probably cheaper? Yeah, but I'd recommend the red velvet. I like the flavor more. Yeah, it just worked better for me. I liked it more. The mushroom burger, on the other hand, I did not like. There was just, because there's a few things, right? It's not just like a straight up mushroom burger. It's not like, oh, it's not like they just took a Baconator and added mushrooms to it. They changed up the cheese. They changed up the, what else did they change up? I don't know. I'm pulling it up right now. So it's got Munster cheese. It's got a creamy garlic spread. It's got bacon, and it's got roasted mushrooms. And so I should say I'm not a big fan of mushrooms. The only mushrooms I like consistently are fried mushrooms. I think fried mushrooms are decent. As a kid, I hated all mushrooms. As a kid, mushrooms suck. Like, my brother still hates mushrooms. Because, yeah, you know. But as an adult, I see more of their benefit. I see mushrooms play. Right, I understand it. Do I eat them all that often? No. Fried mushrooms, I've done a mushroom pasta once or twice in the past. I still, the thing I did not grow out of is I hate olives. As a kid, I hated olives. As an adult, I hate olives. Like, anytime I get, like, an Italian, I will take the mushrooms off. Right, I'll order it without, because I still can't, or the olives. I cannot stand olives. But I saw this burger, and I was like, you know what, mushrooms, that doesn't, I've grown up. I don't hate mushrooms as much as I did. Maybe I'll like this. But there was just some combinations of the mushrooms, the garlic sauce. Something in this burger just wasn't working for me. There's a part of me that wants to say it was the mushrooms and just call it there. But it's totally possible it was the cheese or the garlic spread. Usually I like a good garlic spread. Like, I love a garlic aioli, man. Garlic aiolis are so good. But, especially a truffle garlic aioli. Oh my gosh. Even from Wendy's themselves. Wendy's, like, God, a decade ago did a truffle aioli. That was so good. It probably is the mushrooms, but it might not have been. I just didn't care for it. I tried it, you know, it was one of those things to try, and it just didn't do it for me. Was it bitter? Was it bland? I don't know if it was bitter. It was probably bland. Bland is probably the better word. But it just didn't do it for me. I would not recommend it. I mean, is it as disappointing as that Krabby Patty meal last week? No. And I'm sure if these are flavors you like, you'll probably have a better time than I did. But I did not like it. I would not get this again. No, sirree, I would not get this again. So yeah, Wendy's, for the second month in a row, underperforms. Right, they underperformed with the Krabby Patty last month. They're underperforming with the Mushroom Burger this month. Will they go 3 for 3 next month when they introduce a Peppermint Frosty? Probably. So that leads us to our other burger place we're talking about for the second month in a row, Burger King. So way back in like June, maybe even earlier than that. I want to say June. Burger King held a $1 million Whopper contest where they asked people around the country to create a Whopper, and they'd select like the top contenders and they'd make them into real Whoppers, you know, with the chance to win $1 million. You know, it's basically the same tactic like Lay's does every year, where they're like, hey, give us a flavor, create the next big Lay's flavor, and, you know, we'll make it into an actual thing. Which, again, I don't hate that. In theory, I don't hate that idea. Right? Like, again, I'm a fan of, like, Lego ideas, so, yeah, no, in theory, I don't hate that idea. Of course, corporations can ruin anything, but you get the point. So they did this competition a while ago, and then last month they announced the 3 winners, and then the winners came out this month. So our 3 winners were Mexican sweet corn, fried pickled ranch, and maple bourbon barbecue. So those were our 3 winners. And so I saw in the Burger King app, it was like, hey, you can just order all 3 burgers together and try them all out. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. Going in, my expectations were the sweet corn one, Mexican sweet corn, is going to be the worst, because I do not like the idea of Mexican sweet corn on a burger. So that was that's going to be the worst one. I think the fried pickle one was going to be in the middle, and the best one was going to be maple barbecue bourbon. That was my prediction. I've tried all 3 of them. Yeah, I was basically spot on. The Mexican sweet corn one, I do not care for. It's got a queso. Can I be honest? I don't think fast food places do good queso. Like, I don't remember what other place we had queso at earlier in the year. I want to say it was Wendy's. I want to say Wendy's did a queso burger earlier this year, and I did not like it at all. Because they basically did the exact same burger, but without the sweet corn, right? Where they had the tortilla chips, and it had the queso on it. And yeah, I did not like it then. I don't like it here. It's just kind of the same thing. You know, I don't like the queso. The corn didn't really add anything for me. And then the chips were just kind of whatever. I do think chips can be on a burger. Again, we talked about that Donkey Kong hot dog earlier with Doritos on it. Yeah, you know, or I think of like a ham sandwich with Doritos on it that you eat after a full day of swimming. Man, that's so good. If you were not a kid and did not have that, and you know, go swimming for a full day, then get like a ham and cheese sandwich and put Doritos on it, man, that fucking hits. I miss swimming. I used to go swimming all the time. Not like all the time, but you know, I used to do it semi-frequently. I miss swimming. I miss bowling. Being an adult fucking sucks. So, okay, Mexican sweet corn. I didn't expect to like it. Surprise, surprise, I didn't like it. What's next? Fried pickle ranch. So, along with the fried pickled ranch, they also released fried pickles. Like, you know, if you're going to introduce a new menu item, you might as well just put it on the side as well. So, they have fried pickles on the side. The fried pickles, they're okay. I've definitely had better fried pickles at other places. I think Freddy's had fried pickles once that I really liked. They might still have fried pickles. I know they have fried cheese curds. But they do the strip, right? It's like fried pickled like strips instead of like sliced fried pickles. I actually do prefer the slices, because my problem with the sticks is that the skin of the cucumber, right, it kind of gets chewy when it gets fried. Whereas with like slices, you don't really have that issue. So I didn't really care for the fried pickles on the side. On the burger, they play a little better, I guess. I'll be honest, I didn't really notice the ranch. Like, it's a fried pickle ranch burger, and the ranch just didn't stand out. Like, it wasn't a very prominent flavor. It might not have even, I don't know, they didn't give me any ranch on the side. Like, I would not be surprised if it just wasn't on the burger, if they screwed it up. That's a very Burger King. I don't know, when I went and picked these up, the Burger King was like super busy. I think they only had like 3 people working. The line was backed all the way up. They were so busy that night. Because I tried these a few days ago when they launched. Okay, it might have been yesterday. But yeah, I didn't really notice the ranch at all. And yeah, it was okay. You know, I didn't hate it. Would I get it again? Probably not, but I liked it better than the queso one. Like, you know, admittedly, it was, like, the queso one I had a negative reaction to, whereas the fried pickles one I kind of had no reaction, outside of, you know, the standard Whopper reaction. And, well, I know when we talk about, like, video games, I say a bad reaction is more interesting than just a boring reaction. Right, and when it comes to like a movie or a game or something. In food, no. A boring reaction is better than a bad reaction. I'd rather have the food just kind of taste like, you know, just like food, than I would have the food taste bad. Because bad food can fucking suck. Especially from Burger King, my god. So that leaves us with our last one, our barbecue bacon jam, maple bourbon bacon jam thing. So maple bourbon bacon jam, I'll be honest, when I bit into it, it was a lot sweeter than I expected. I know bacon jam is usually sweet, but it was like candied bacon. It was way sweeter than I thought it was going to be. I don't know, I'm not a big bacon jam guy. I do think it has its place. I just haven't... The last time I had bacon jam was when I was in Vegas. I had a burger with bacon jam, mac and cheese, and like 3 other things on it. And that was just way too fucking much. The bacon jam they had was really good. And it was... I remember that one being more savory than anything else. But yeah, this bacon jam was very sweet. I think it is probably the best one. You know, it's kind of hard to fuck up bacon. Don't get me wrong, I have definitely seen it fucked up before. But, you know, bacon's a little harder to fuck up than, you know, fried pickles or Mexican sweet corn. But yeah, it was a very sweet burger. I know it's supposed to be sweet and savory. I didn't get much savory out of it. I mostly got the sweet. Which I know for some people a sweet burger is like an instant turn off. Like, ooh, fuck that. But no, I thought this was fine. Of the three, this is probably my favorite. Is this something I'm going to order again? Probably not. Will I go to Burger King again in the next month? Also, probably not. I don't really go to Burger King, like, at all. I have gone to Burger King more in the past, like, 2 months than I have in the past, like, 2 years. I don't go to Burger King at all. Of the big 3 burger places, they are by far the worst one. Are there worse burger places than Burger King? Oh my gosh, yes. I'm not going to name any names, but I do definitely think there are worse places. But I also think there are better places. Would I get all 3 of these burgers over the mushroom burger at Wendy's? I'd get at least 2 of the sweet corn. I just don't like the sweet corn one. I definitely wouldn't get that one. But the other 2 I'd probably get. Yeah, I'd probably get a fried pickle or a, bacon. Right, between the 2 bacon, right, a mushroom bacon and a maple bacon barbecue. I'd probably get the maple bacon barbecue again, definitely. Yeah. So yeah, which one do I vote for the maple bacon? But honestly, if none of them become... Because that's like the one... Like, I like... Okay, here's the thing. I mentioned the Lay's pick a flavor thing at the top of the show. Or at the top of the segment. And right, I think it's a cool idea. Very rarely does it actually create something good. Most of the Lay's pick a flavors that I can think of aren't actually that good. A lot of time, they've had some real stinkers over the years. There was like a pork one. It was, I think it was just like, it was like pork chop or barbecue pork or something like that. That was fucking awful. I've had some real bad Lay's flavors over the years. I've had some good ones. Was garlic bread good? I think garlic bread was good. I can't remember if the pizza one was good or not. It's been too long. Like, they did, like, a deep dish pizza one year. But I want to say the garlic bread was good. I don't know. They've done a lot of them over the years. Some of them are definitely better than others. But, you know, I like novelty. If it isn't clear by what we've talked about in these 3 foods, right, I like novelty in my food. Right, in a world where all fast food fucking sucks nowadays for myriad of reasons, the only thing I can truly rely on anymore is novelty. And sometimes they do fun stuff. But yeah, last month I had a lot more positive things to say. When we talked about, you know, Chicken Big Mac and even the Krabby Patty meal, I felt like I was more positive on, even though I was still kind of underwhelmed. And that Purple Whopper still kind of surprises me. Man, I must have just gotten good Burger King that night. You know, the 1 in a million good Burger King. Because this is, like, when I think Burger King, this is definitely a lot more on par with what I expected. Compared to last month, which was actually really good. The luck was in my stars last month. Or whatever the fuck the saying is. So, yeah, that's my foodstuffs. I think, is it next week? It's either next week or the week after that. We have the apple pie empanada, which I am excited for. Because, man, do I like a good apple pie. At least, I don't know, I've kind of grown, right, I'm a little skeptical of it nowadays. But I do like a good apple pie. I don't know, I think I kind of overdid it. That's probably why I'm a little bit more negative on apple pie. It's just because God, apple pie is good. Alright, let's move on. Animus. So, I watched an anime. Why this one? I don't know. I saw it on my feed and was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's give this a shot. So, I watched... Oh, God, what's the exact name? reborn as a vending machine. Now I wander the dungeon. So this is an isekai. You know, I like myself a good shitty isekai. I have a soft spot for dumb isekai, and we're kind of now in the world where it's like we've seen everything isekai can do, so now every show kind of tries to add their own like little spice, right? Oh, in this one, the main character's reborn as a girl even though before they were a guy. Oh, in this one, the main character is a slime. Oh, in this one, the main character is the villain of the Otome game they used to play, and now they have to avoid dying. Oh, in this one, the main character is a sword. And in this one, the main character is a fucking vending machine. So the setup, right, it's the same isekai setup. You know, guy gets truck-cooned, but he gets truck-cooned by a truck carrying a vending machine. Because the guy is autistic, and instead of having trains as his special interest, he instead has vending machines as his special interest. He knows the history of vending machines, he loves talking about them, he knows everything, all the different makes and models. It's his special interest. How have we never gotten a train isekai? You know, real quick, how, you know, with all the weird different flavors of isekai, how have we not gotten the isekai that's like, I was reborn in another world to live, and now I'm living out my dream of being a train conductor? Where, right, the main character's special interest is trains, and they have the power to create rails wherever they want, so they set up a train network around the kingdom. You know, they get their harem of elf girls is all the stewardesses who work on the train. How the fuck have we not gotten a train isekai? Should I make a train isekai? I don't know enough about trains to make a train isekai. Trains are not my special interest. Yeah, I don't know enough about trains. How have we not gotten a train isekai? There is a train anime. I cannot remember what it was called. I watched the first episode of it, and yeah, I was like, oh, this is okay, I guess. And then I never watched another episode. It started with a Q. It's one of those rare shows where it's like, oh yeah, this has a Q in the title. I think it's not quintessential quintuplets, but it like uses like a naming scheme like that. Like I think it's a double Q. It's like Quaalude code or something like that. Qualid code, or it's something dumb like that. I think that's the anime I'm thinking of. Ooh, I don't know. It's been a while. Either that or it's a number. It's got like a number in the title. I don't know. Okay, so vending machine. So guy gets reincarnated as a vending machine in a dungeon. He gets found by and the dungeon looks just like honestly, the show could have been taken out of the dungeon, and like you never tell, because of course it's one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, the dungeon has a natural sky. They've set up a city in the dungeon, so it's as if, you know, people who live in the dungeon, it's like they're just living on the surface. Right? It's one of the, it's you know, Sword Art Online inspired. I know Sword Art Online wasn't the first thing to do that, not by a long shot, but that's what I think of. So yeah, they're on, you know, one of the floors in the dungeon with lake, and there's like goblins and fish people and lizard people and alligator people, and not as enemies. They're not like, it's not like one of the shows with like sentient, smart alligator people. Like these are dumb alligator people. And they're dealing with that, and hey, he gets picked up by this girl who has, like, the special abilities as that she's super strong, right? She's really strong, she hits really hard, she's, right, really, her punches pack a punch, but she misses all of her shots, right? Like, she can't throw, her aim is awful, she misses her punches, she's clumsy, but, you know, she finds this vending machine, names him Boxo, and, you know, sets him up inside the dungeon. He's got this whole, right, as the vending machine, his life is based around money he makes. So when he makes money, he can, like, spend it to get new products. But, like, the money ticks down every day, just, like, regardless. and if he ever reaches 0, he dies. So that's kind of his whole thing. And, you know, over time, he, you know, buys more products. Because he's such a vending machine nerd, he's able to transform into other types of vending machines. So he can become like a cardboard vending machine, a balloon vending machine. He becomes a condom vending machine at one point. Yeah, it's a very quick bit. And like they're like, "Oh yeah, you know, the whole bit it like starts off with the guy being like with like the head of like the town or the union or whatever coming to him and being like, "Hey, you know, we've got a lot of people moving into town. We're worried about the spread of like diseases." And at first I was like, "Oh, so what, he's going to sell them like soap and whatnot?" Because soap vending machines, and that comes up later on. But then you realize like, oh no, the woman he's talking to is a lady of the night and she buys condoms from him. So I was like, okay. He also becomes a tampon vending machine at a later point. So, like, they do definitely go there. But yeah, as a vending machine, you know, he can't fight, he can't do anything, but he can, you know, create stuff out of his vending machine. He can create shields. And, you know, crazy stuff happens along the way. He gets kidnapped at one point, and there's, like, this person who researches, magical item, because everybody thinks he's a magical item. Specifically, he was a human soul who got trapped in a magical item. That's like what they think he is. And they ask the question of like, "Hey, well, you know, you have a chance to get a wish granted. Would you want to become human again?" And that's like something he has to ponder. Of course, it's a 12-episode anime. Nothing gets resolved by the end. Like, they do definitely, like, at one point they come across, like, this, like, demon lord who does hint that, like, hey, he knows this guy's a reincarnation from another world, but that never actually goes anywheres. Some of the characters almost die. There's this, like, the one researcher who is, like, you know, she researches the magical items. Yeah, she kicks the bucket for a minute, and they have to use, like, a, defibrillator? Yeah, it's dumb, but it knows it's a dumb isekai, and it tries to have fun with it. One of the antagonists in the show is a chain restaurant, literally called Chain Restaurant. Like, it's literally a restaurant with, like, a bunch of chains for its decor. And so there are multiple episodes that deal with, like, the local business trying to fight off this chain restaurant. You know, they have fun with it. They're aware it's dumb. You know, they go on some dungeon adventures. At one point, they fight, like, this giant dungeon lord crocodile, and it, like, eats him. And then, so, of course, he goes inside, fills it with gas, and then lights a fire because he has like a microwave inside of him to like heat up frozen dinners, and he fucking puts metal silverware in the microwave, starts a fire, and then blows up the crocodile from the inside. So it's like, you know, he's still one of those overpowered protagonists from every isekai, but he's also a vending machine who can't move. Like, that's half the joke. You know, it's got heart to it. It's a fucking isekai. There's no harem. It's barely romantic. Like, yes, is there this tinge of potentially the guy liking the girl who's carrying him around? Yes, there is definitely that element. But it's very underplayed. Does he get a kiss at one point? I think so. I think the series ends with them, like, kissing him to, like, show their appreciation. But, again, the whole romantic element, very underplayed compared to some other isekai bullshit I've seen. Would I recommend it? I don't know. There are worse isekais out there. God, the first one that comes to mind is, The Old Man's Grandson, or, I Am the Seventh Son. Both isekais that just, like, yep, they just checked all the boxes and did nothing more. Yeah, this one, again, what makes isekai interesting nowadays is the flavor. What did they spice it with? What things do they try? Alright, and this one, you know, it tried it's self-aware enough, and it tries some things. I didn't hate it. I know, again, the comparison I make is that, I was reincarnated as a sword, but I haven't watched that one, so I don't know if I could actually, like, compare it to that. What is it? It's something like The Time I Got Reincarnated as a Sword, or... Let me see if I can find it. I don't know, maybe I'll check out that one next. Yeah, it's literally just called Reincarnated as a Sword. Yeah, I don't know. I've talked about in the past. I have fun with dumb isekais because they are dumb. And I like some of the spice they give. But they are fucking stupid. And yeah, this one's stupid, but honestly, I've seen so much worse. I've seen so much more... I've seen so much more generic and boring than Vending Machine Guy. So yeah, that's what I've been watching. Other things to talk about on television. I haven't watched any other anime, obviously, but like television stuff. Make Some Noise had a new episode that was really good. This season of Make Some Noise is their best season yet. It's so good. I'm honestly I don't know when we're getting the season finale. It feels like it feels like this episode could have been the season finale. We're getting closer and closer to it, I'm sure. Especially because Game Changer Season 7 just wrapped. But man, has it been a great season. Honestly, everyone's been on their A game. It has been so funny. And the prompts have been great. The characters have been, the people they've brought in, the characters they play, they've gotten some fantastic work out of them this season. Easily, if you've never watched Make Some Noise or Game Changer or anything like that, now is a perfect season to jump in. And yeah, whatever the new episode, I don't even remember who was on the newest episode. It was really good. I watched that. I rewatched like the first 3 episodes of the season as well. Just kind of, I had them as noise on in the background. And they're also just really funny. Season 3 has been great. They've really just been pulling all the stops out and made something fantastic. Gosh dang it. So I've been watching that. Gastronauts has been pretty decent. The 3rd episode came out, and they had some fun ones. They did it was Sam and his wife, girlfriend, fiance, and the host's wife, girlfriend, fiance. And there was Dinosaur Chicken Nugget Land. There was Sam's prompt was Blink in a Blink Bowl. And I cannot for the life of me remember what the 3rd prompt was. Dinosaur Chicken Nuggets, Blink in a Blink Bowl. Yeah, it was the 2nd prompt of the episode. Whatever it was, Gastronauts has been fun. It's their take on a cooking show. It's been interesting. It's different. It has been different. I've been enjoying it more than the current scene of Crime Scene Kitchen, which, Crime Scene Kitchen is dumb, but I do enjoy it. And this season has been dumb, but I've been enjoying it, but not as much as the first 2 seasons. I like the first 2 seasons more. This one just hasn't had the same energy, I think. It's been okay. It's just not been the same. And then, of course, they released their newest trailer for their new show, Nobody Asked, which is basically... So, Gastronauts is their take on a cooking show. Nobody Asked is College Humor's take on... Or, excuse me, Dropout's take on Mythbusters. Right? It's them, it's Iffy, Brian David Gilbert, Reika, and 2 other people whose names I don't remember. It's them. I cannot remember who the other 2 people are. Iffy, Brian David Gilbert, Reika. maybe Oscar Montoya. Was it Oscar Montoya? That might be it. I don't remember. But it's them, and they come up with these, like, crazy ideas, and then they test them out. You know, they're bringing in experts, they're testing out their crazy, stupid ideas. It's Mythbusters. It's comedy internet show Mythbusters, and that sounds fun. Again, I think Gastronauts was pretty good so far, because, you know, it's comedy internet cooking show. That sounds fun, and they've gotten some fun premises out of it. So, comedy internet show Mythbusters is good. The cast they have seems good. So yeah, I'm interested. I think that comes out the end of the month. But yeah, we got the trailer for that earlier today. Oh yeah, Dropout's been doing great stuff. Right, the website formerly known as College Humor, now on to their, 6th year, are still making great content. Easily recommendation. Have I been watching any Misfits and Magic? No, I have not. I don't think I've seen past the 2nd episode. I really need to, and I will eventually. Just not right now. And then the only other thing, Try Guys. We got the first 3 episodes of the new season of Without a Recipe. I have watched all 3. They're all pretty good. Which one was it? Was it the cereal one was funny. I think it was Pot Pies. And then I don't remember what the third one was. Cereal, Pot Pie, and whatever the third one was. Oh, Girl Scout cookies. And yeah, it's been an okay season. You know, you got some fun episodes in there. I think it was, what was his name? Ryan? Was it Ryan? Who just went and watched every episode to, like, study up. And I was in that first, I think it was it the cereal one? Whichever was, no, it was the Girl Scout cookie one. I was really rooting for him in the Girl Scout cookie one. Because he was like, oh yeah, I remember on, you know, the original cookie episode when you guys said this, right, when they brought in the expert. And I was like really rooting for him. Like, he did his research. I know he didn't have a recipe, but he did his research. It sounded like he made sense. You know, he wasn't pouring in sugar when he needed salt or vice versa. And then yeah, he loses the episode. And then of course he gets his redemption in the next one. I feel like doing it as a bracket seems good. I'm surprised they released, at least for Second Try members, they released all 3 episodes, the first 3 episodes all at once. I'm really surprised they did that. Because, you know, I would have just taken getting them a week early. That would have been fine. But yeah, so that's been fun. And then the other show is Dropped in a City. I don't know if we talked about this one, right? The whole premise is they're in a city doing a scavenger hunt for a day. And they have a list of things to do. And as they do things, they get points. Whoever has the most points at the end of the night gets a reward. And whoever has the least points, right, whichever team, they get some sort of, like, punishment. Like, in the New York episode, the winner got to go out and get sushi with Rachel Zegler. I think it was Rachel Zegler. It was somebody famous. And then the loser had to go get, like, sushi from, like, one of the lowest rated sushi places in the city or something dumb like that. And, of course, it didn't work out, you know. And, yeah, it's been fun. I like, in the second episode, they make the change where when they go to a place, if the place isn't open, they get half points. Because, right, you go to some places and it's like, oh, yeah, we don't open until, like, 9 o'clock at night, and right, that's just something like, yeah, it's on their list, but they can't do it, so they at least get half points. And I was like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. I really like that. So that was a welcome change. But so I felt like from the first to the second episode, that's a change they made that I thought was really good. Right, you can see the show growing and adapting as time goes on. So I was disappointed in the third episode in Philadelphia. Because one of the change that they made, it might not have even been a change. It might have just been something special they did for that episode. Because I know, like in the New York episode, there's at one point they have a challenge to finish an entire hot dog in 60 seconds. Right? Between both of them, they have to eat. So it's 2 hot dogs in 60 seconds. Right? 1 per person. And it's like, okay, you know, that's a fun little, like, challenge, I guess. In the Philadelphia episode, so many of the challenges are, hey, you gotta do something in 60 seconds, and if you don't do it, you don't get any of the points. So they had to make pretzels in 60 seconds, or else they don't get the points. They have to do cookies in 60 seconds, or they don't get the points. They have to, there was another one. I know there was an ice cream flavor one where they had to guess flavors of ice cream blindfolded. Oh, there was like a one where they had to like wrap a chocolate bar in 60 seconds or they don't get the points. And there were just so many of them. I did not like those like, I get the challenges add game, right? They add some sort of risk versus reward element. They're supposed to make the game more interesting. But like, if Team Zach and Marissa, if they had lost just because of all the points they went to a place and then didn't get points, I would have actually been pretty annoyed. Because that's not how it really works. Outside of, again, there's that one hot dog thing in New York. There aren't that many other challenges like that in the other cities. This was mostly was just a Philadelphia thing. And I did not like it. I do not think that was a good change. Or if they are going to make that change, you should at least get half points for attempting it. Because, right, like, at one point they go to, like, it's like this, like, alley street. And, right, occasionally people on the alley street, right, it's got all these museums, but of course people also live there, and they'll potentially, like, invite you into their house, and, like, the challenge was to get someone to invite you into their house. So it's like, okay, if they get that, that's cool. But, of course, that didn't happen. And it's like, they should at least get, like, half points or something, just for, like, going to the alley street, or... I don't know, there should be some sort of compromise there. Because, again, the New York episode did that. And I think the New York episode was better for that, because, you know, it got them going to more places. Whereas this one, you know, yeah, they added more game to it. But I just didn't... It really sucks when, right... Marissa and Zach just lose out on, like, hundreds of points. Because they just can't do it. And I think the only time it ever really came up, I think once it came up, where they failed the pretzels, and then Zach and Johnny got a chance to do the pretzels themselves, and they won that point. So it only happened once in the entire thing. Like, if there were less things to do, maybe I could see it. But they did, like, a bunch of stuff. Yeah, other than that, I think the episode was still good. I still was entertained. But that's like, it's clear that they're experimenting with stuff in each episode to really, like, find out what works and what doesn't work. And I feel like, yeah, the 60-second challenges, at least for me, didn't work. Or, again, maybe if they got half points for at least trying, I would have been fine with it. Or maybe if, you know, you try it, you get the half points, but if the other team goes and tries to do it, they can steal for full points. Some sort of compromise, there's some sort of way to do that to make it work. But yeah, you know, it's still a fine show. It's one of those shows where it's like, I'm curious about the budget of it. Because I think of shows like Achievement Hunter, which cost like $1 million per episode. Like, that was a very expensive show, because they had to go to these locations, they had to scout them, they had to research, they had to, you know, film overnight, they had to edit. I wonder how much, because, you know, it's, in theory, they're just teams of 3, right? It's 3 people, there's a cameraman, right? Of course, you have to get someone to do research, you gotta pay for plane tickets, they all get, like, in the Philadelphia one, they had a starting budget of $500. You know, like, there's definitely an overhead there. But I feel like the way they're shooting it, the way it's being, like, filmed, right? There's no skits, it's all improv. right? I feel like it's probably cheaper, but I'd be it's one of those things where I'd be curious to see the numbers. Just out of, curiosity, because I know travel shows like this can get very expensive. I mean, on a big network, with something like Anthony Bourdain, right, you'll have plenty of people watching it, because Anthony Bourdain was great, and he was good at what he did. But I feel like this show is good at what it does as well. Like, seeing them go around Philadelphia, I'm kind of like, yeah, you know what, I'd love to check out some of this stuff. Like, definitely the Vegas one, because as someone who goes to Vegas a lot, seeing them waltz around Vegas, it's like, oh, I didn't know that was there. Oh, that'd be something cool to check out next time I'm there. Of course, some of it's like, oh, been there, done that. Like, I have no interest in going to Madame Tussauds ever again. It just doesn't really do it for me. Now, I've still never been to Area... Is it Area 25? Area 51? Or Area 15? I've still never been there. I've been to the normal Meow Wolf up in Santa Fe. Yeah. Because that's only like a 4-hour drive. Whereas Vegas is like 5 times that. So yeah, I think that's all the TV stuff I gotta talk about. Let's move on to games. So what gaming stuff do I have? Let's talk Astrobot real quick. So Astrobot, future game of the year Astrobot. We'll actually talk about that in a minute. It's released, so right, a few weeks ago we talked about its speedrun levels, and now it put out its first speedrun level, and it was going to be putting out, like, a new one every week. They've now put out their first set. So they put out 5 speedrun levels, each based around a different power. So, right, the first one was based around the dog jetpack. The second one was based around, what was the second one based around? Don't remember what the second one was based around. The third one was based around the elephant. At least, maybe the second one was based around the elephant. I'm forgetting what the third one is. One of the levels was based around the elephant, and you can make, like, ice platforms. That one was decent. I felt like you could position the platforms to, like, cheat and go faster. I think that's the best time I ever got on any of these levels was that one. There was a balloon one that I hated. Because the whole balloon one, right, the balloon was slow. It didn't go as high as I wanted it in certain parts. There were certain things that I thought were shortcuts, but I just didn't get enough height, or the game reacted weird to me trying to, like, cut the corners. That was the only... I honestly got most of them on my first try. Let's say my first successful run. I got most of these challenges on my first successful run. Except for the balloon one. I had to redo the balloon one, the octopus balloon, like 4 times. Because I just could not get fast enough. And then the one they put out this week was the monkey one. Which is, shit. Which is, all about the monkey gripper hand things. And, right, though, that one I struggled with. But because I felt so much slower. Like, that's one where I don't exactly know where you cut corners on it. Because the monkey arms, where you just have to, like, shake your controller back and forth to, like, climb. It's just so slow. Like, I'm sure there's a way where I can mess around in the accessibility settings to make it go faster. But at least when I was playing it, I just felt like I was going slow. I did still get it on my first successful try. I did barely get it. But it was not a favorite level of mine. But yeah, I did all the speedrun challenges. I got the 4 Helldivers. I got the girl from Stellar Blade. I got K6 from Destiny. There's some neat ones in there. I hope they do more stuff. I know this is just the first wave as far as I'm aware. They're going to keep adding more stuff in the future. It's some neat thing. Again, Astrobot is still a fantastic game. Future potential game of the year. At least it was until today. So, I guess we should talk about that. So, completely unrelated. So on their FAQ, the Game Awards put out a thing being like, hey, so someone asked the question, are DLCs, expansion packs, and remakes/remasters eligible for, awards? And the Game Awards responded, the Game Awards aims to recognize the best creative and technical work each year, irrespective of the format and the contents released. Expansion packs, new game seasons, DLCs, remakes, and remasters are all eligible in all categories. If the jury deems the new creative and technical works to be worthy of a nomination, factors such as newness and content and its price values should be taken into consideration. This may have always been the case for the Game Awards, right? Because I know, they usually have a thing that's, best update, best new season. So, this might have been a rule for the entire Game Awards. But the fact that they specifically updated this today... Elden Ring Shadow of the Earth Tree is going to get a nomination. This is basically the confirmation that, hey, because, people really like the Elden Ring DLC. So I'm basically treating this as yeah, this is the confirmation that DLC is going to be nominated for an award. Because, there's been a lot of talk about should a DLC qualify for an award. I have very complicated feelings on it. I can, in some ways, I can see, yeah, you know what, if this DLC did a lot of new and interesting things, it should totally be nominated. I'll use Splatoon here as an example. Splatoon 2, on its own at launch, it was okay, but it wasn't anything that special. But by the time the DLC and all the updates came out, I really liked Splatoon 2. I enjoyed Splatoon 2 way more at the end of its lifespan than I did the beginning of its lifespan. Right, in Splatoon 3 here, it got a DLC earlier this year. Its side order content is eligible for any of these categories. Will it be nominated for anything? No, of course not. The Game Awards don't give a shit about Splatoon. They never have, and they probably never will. Outside of, Best Nintendo Game category. Of which I think it did win Best Nintendo Game, a year or two ago. It won. I'm pretty sure that Splatoon won something at the Game Awards. But regardless, this is kind of like when they created best accessibility category, and it's oh yeah, we know you created this just to give The Last of Us 2 another award. And kind of PlayStation in general, because I'm pretty sure PlayStation wins it every year. Of the 2 or 3 years they've had that category, which I think is a good category, by the way. I'm glad they have best accessibility. Because accessibility is great, and we've got some great accessibility over the years. I'm glad it exists. But it was originally created just to give The Last of Us another award, sadly. Right, I don't have a problem with DLCs. But I actually don't really like remakes being nominated for Game of the Year. Or maybe I don't like remaster. Okay. I don't have a problem with Final Fantasy VII Returns. I think it's called Final Fantasy. Whatever the new Final Fantasy VII game that came out this year, I have no problem with that being nominated. Because, well, yes, it uses story elements and characters from Final Fantasy VII. It's more or less a brand new game. What it does basically makes it a new game. I have no problem with Final Fantasy VII being nominated. What I do have a problem with being nominated is the Resident Evil 4 remake. Because that didn't completely remake the game. That just took the already existing game, made it better, made it cleaner, made it nicer. It didn't... Basically, Final Fantasy VII is rebuilding everything from the ground up, whereas Resident Evil, or, even Silent Hill 2 this year, are just using what already existed and just making it better. Right? I don't like games like that. Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD. Even though those are great games, I don't think either of them should ever be nominated for something like Game of the Year. Unless you're, fully remaking it. There's been some rumors recently about Ocarina of Time getting a remake. And honestly, if they remake Ocarina of Time, I hope they give it the Final Fantasy VII Remake treatment, where they go in and they just fully remake the game from the ground up, you know, as if it's like a brand new thing. They treat it like it's the first time it's ever being made. I feel like that's the best approach to remaking Ocarina of Time. Because we got the 3DS remake. And while the 3DS remake was good, and I do give it a lot of credit, I'd want to see them do something different. So that's my take on things. But yeah, I mean, especially with DLCs like, you know, Shadow of the Erdtree, or Blood and Wine for The Witcher, Phantom Liberty for Cyberpunk, they're adding, like, basically a full game's worth of content into the game. I can see the understanding of, like, yeah, you know, this should be treated as a brand new game, right? This should be treated as a brand new game. I see the argument there. Like, would I nominate Splatoon's Side Order for, like, something like that, like Best New Shooter? Probably not. Or, you know, Best Shooter? Probably not. But I definitely give it a nomination for Best Ongoing, because, you know, it was ongoing. And for some reason, the only games we ever give it to are fucking Fortnite and League of Legends. Warzones, you know, shit like that. But yeah, I think this is just the Game Awards prepping us for that. I probably should have made this an actual news story. I don't know why I didn't. But this now means that Astrobot, a game that I'm like 90% sure was going to win Game of the Year, I'd now give it like 50-50. It's no long... I mean, so they're announcing... So the reason why they put this out now is because on Monday they're announcing the nominees. Who's going to be nominated. There's only 6 nominees for Game of the Year, even though I think they should make it 8. I stand by it should be the one category with more nominees. Make it 8, make it 9. You know, the Oscars nominates a lot of categories for Best Picture, and only like 6 for everything else. You can nominate more categories if you really want to. But my guess is it's going to be Shadow of Erdtree, Astrobot, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Metaphor ReFantazio. Before, I would have said Zelda, just for like Nintendo game nod, but with Shadow of the Erdtree, no, it's not going to be Zelda. I could see Balatro taking it for indie game, because Balatro, well, you know, it's very critically acclaimed. It's been very popular this year. I could see Balatro taking a nomination for indie game. It's not going to win, but I could see, you know, kind of like Celeste or other example before it. I could see it taking the nomination. And then 5th game... I don't know, I feel like a lot of people's suggestions are just RPGs. Like, I've seen people create their predictions for Game of the Year, and it's just RPGs. It's just, you know, I don't think it's going to be Black Myth Wukong. I know some people really want that. I don't think it's going to be Black Myth Wukong. I don't think Stellar Blade's getting nominated. I think Persona 3 Remaster came out this year. Again, another game that I personally wouldn't qualify, because it doesn't change enough. I feel like is there a separate category that's like Best Remake or Remaster? I feel like maybe that should be like its own category. I don't know. But, you know, there's going to be one other thing. I don't think Stellar Blade, I don't think Black Myth Wukong. I can't think of any other critically acclaimed games this year. I don't know, let me go to OpenCritic real quick. Oh, wait, hey, look, I have it right there. Hall of Fame, right, so Astrobot, Final Fantasy, Metaphor ReFantazio, Balatro, I don't think Tekken's getting nominated. I don't think Hades 2 is getting nominated until it's in full release. Next year, when it's fully out, definitely. Next year, I definitely think it's getting nominated. I did not mean to stop there. We still got stuff to talk about. Like a Dragon, probably not, but maybe. Yeah, Shadow of the Erdtree, definitely. Satisfactory would be neat, but I think we'd only get one indie game, and it's definitely going to be... I don't think Animal Well... Again, between Animal Well, Satisfactory, and Balatro, I think it would be Balatro. I wouldn't hate Animal Well. Honestly, I wouldn't hate that at all. Yeah, that's the only one that stands out. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. We'll talk about the Game Awards nominees next week. I'll give my predictions, and then the actual show is like the first week of December, which we might actually be watching this year because I don't have anything planned that night. Normally I do. Like I said, in the past like 5 years, I've had things planned on like 4 of those nights. Not this year though. I actually don't have anything planned this year. Just the way the cookie crumbled. So yeah, other gaming stuff, because I went on a side tangent there about the Game Awards. So last week, I talked about how Mario and Luigi Brothership came out. And I mentioned that, you know, I wasn't planning on picking up the game because there's a bunch of Mario RPGs that have been released. And I want to play at least one of them before I play Brothership. Right? I was either going to buy Thousand Year Door Remake, or I already have Super Mario RPG. And I was just going to get one of those, and I was going to play it, and then after I beat that, I'd play Brothership. But you know what? I was just in a mood. I was just kind of in a mood where I was like, you know what? A new Mario and Luigi game actually sounds like a lot of fun. I know they're RPGs, but they play a little differently than, like, again, a lot of the RPGs I just listed. You know what? I know IGN shit on it and gave it a 5 out of 10. Their lowest possible score for a game. That's only kind of a joke. But I was like, you know what? I kind of do want to play it. So I picked up Mario and Luigi Brothership. And unlike like Super Mario RPG Remake, where I picked it up and never touched it, I did actually play this one. I put about 10 hours into it so far. I've done the first lighthouse, and I'm pretty close to doing the second one. Like, I just have to go to it, of the grand lighthouses, I mean. I'm like, yeah, like 10 hours in, and so far, I've actually been really enjoying it. My literal only complaint so far is the button change. So if you've ever... history with Mario and Luigi, I played the first 3 games. No, I played the first 4 games. Right? I played in the order I played them. I played 3 first. I played 4. I played 3, 4. Then I went back and played 1 and 2. That's kind of also how I feel about the games from favorite to least favorite. My favorite is 3, then 4, then 1, then 2. Yeah, that's kind of also how because I know some people don't like Dream Team. I actually really do. I do not like Partners in Time. I do not care for that game. I have no interest. Like, I kind of want to give Superstar another shot. It's been a while. I will never replay Partners in Time. That game just did not do it for me at all. But, you know, I liked Mario and Luigi. I didn't play Paper Jam, but Paper Jam did nothing for me. It was not interesting. It was, you know, we were in the dark ages of Nintendo, the dark ages of Paper Mario. Yeah, Paper Jam did nothing for me, and it seemed super underwhelming. But, you know, this new game looks like a return to form. And you know what? If it reminds me of any of them, it really does remind me of Superstar Saga. It really does feel like they've kind of gone back to their roots and been like, yeah, let's just do Superstar Saga again. Of course, there are changes, you know, it's different. But that's the one, it plays more like Superstar Saga than it does Bowser's Inside Story or Dream Team. But, okay, so if you've ever played a previous Mario and Luigi, how it works is you control Mario by pressing the A button to do his action commands. And you control Luigi by pressing the B button to do his action commands. And that's how it works in everything. Whether you're in the battle, whether you're in the overworld, in the menus, Mario is controlled with A, Luigi's controlled with B. This game, for the most part, works that way, right? Mario's action commands are with A, you jump with A, Luigi's action commands are B, you jump with B, with one exception. When you're in a battle, in the battle menu, Mario is controlled, right, like you select your attack by moving the stick. You find, like, oh, I want to use hammer, so I move over to hammer. I press A, and then I do my Mario action commands with A. Luigi, on the other hand, while you're in the menu, you select with A. You select with A, you choose your attack with A, you confirm your attack with A, then you switch to B to do your attack. So you have to basically do the first 2 prompts with A, and then you do the next 2 prompts with B. And that's the first time a game has worked like this, and I fucking hate it. Because I have screwed up Luigi's action commands so many times. Because, you know, you press A 2 times, and then you have to press B on the 3rd press. And there are so many times, specifically on the jump attack. I do it less with the hammer, but on the jump attack, I screw it up so many times. Because, you know, A, and then you switch to B, then you go back to A, then you go to B. And I just screw up. I hit A again for a 3rd time, and it just completely bungles the attack. Especially because it's like the hammer. I think the reason I screw up the hammer less is because the hammer has more startup time. Like it takes longer to start the hammer attack, whereas the jump attack just gets straight into it. So I have screwed up the jump attack so many times with Luigi. I have never messed it up with Mario. That is literally my only problem with this game. I've heard some people complain about how, like, laggy the game is. Maybe it gets laggy later on in the game. So far, I have had, like, no issues. I've heard people complain about Luigi's AI being stupid. So far, I have had no issues. A lot of the complaints I've seen people have with this game, I have no issues with. The only thing that really bothers me is this action command stuff. Like, if it was, and you know, the solution, just make it a setting. If this was the default setting where the menus were controlled with A, and then Mario and Luigi were each controlled with their own button, and then there was an option in the settings to make it where each character was their respective buttons, that would solve this entire problem. Right? This should have just been an option. Because again, every previous game has worked like this. I'm sure if you've never played a Mario and Luigi game, you probably won't have this problem. Because again, I feel like part of it is that I'm just ingrained to control Luigi with B, and not controlling him with B kind of breaks my brain, because that's not how it's supposed to work. But other than that, I've really enjoyed the game. I've been doing a lot of the quests. I've been doing some of the side quests. I like that. So I love Xenoblade Chronicles. I've talked about it before. It's one of my favorite games of all time. One of the things Xenoblade Chronicles does, and they're not the only RPG that does this, you know, there are plenty of other RPGs that do, they have timed quests where if you advance too far in a story, the quest gets locked off. That's not something I actually like that much. It's definitely a FOMO thing. Like, oh, you know, if I don't do these quests right away, they're going to be locked out for me, and I'm just never going to be able to do them, right? It's totally a FOMO thing. Mario and Luigi Brothership does this. I don't know if it's... I can't think of any of the other Mario and Luigi games doing this, but this game does it. But they do a thing where if you get a side quest and it's about to go away from story progression, the quest icon turns from blue to red. So that way it's the game, like, warning you, like, hey, if you don't do the side quest right now, it's gonna go away. I like that. I hope this is a change that's made in future games. Like, I hope the Xenoblade Chronicles X Remaster makes this change as well. Because, yeah, that's something that always stresses me out, is, like, time quests, like, oh my god, I'm gonna get locked out of this quest. Oh no, god, I hate when that happens. But in this game, yeah, no, I've not had any stress over it. So I like that. I think that's a good change. And, yeah, the side quests have been okay. I don't know, I've heard this game is actually like 50 hours long, and that's doing like minimal side quests. So we'll see. I'm probably gonna start slipping up at some point. But so far, I've been enjoying it. I think all the gameplay is fun, you know, I like the action command stuff. The special abilities are good. I feel like I haven't unlocked I think I've only unlocked like 1 or 2. I feel like they're very slow to give them out, whereas like, again, my main point, Bowser's Inside Story, I feel like it's a lot more liberal with them. Maybe that's because there's more characters, right? There's 3 characters in Bowser's Inside Story. Maybe that's why. But yeah, I've been enjoying it. The only enemy that so far, I've heard some people say the game's too easy. I kind of see that, right? I definitely feel like I haven't struggled that much. But I don't mind that in an RPG. You know what? That's not a big deal. Especially because Mario and Luigi is a game where if you know your action commands, you can beat the game without taking a single shot of damage. Right? It's actually... I'm not going to say it's easy to do, but, you know, there are systems in place to make it easier if you want to try to beat the game without taking any damage. And so far, I've actually been pretty decent at the action commands, except for these fucking birds. I don't remember what they're called. There are these red birds with spring necks that I just cannot get their attack patterns down. The first time I fought them, they were doing like 20 damage per hit, and they must have killed Mario like 4 times. Because they can do an attack where they like shoot their head forward, and you have to like knock it back with your hammer, but it'll actually, like, they'll look at one of the bros, and then their head will curve and hit the other one. And while I know there is a tell to be like, oh yeah, no, this is actually the hint that he's going to curve, I just cannot figure out that tell. And I have struggled with this. I've struggled with these enemies. They have a name. It's not conch doors. It's something like that. They annoy the crap out of me. But other than that, you know, I've enjoyed everything else. I've done a few bosses. The bosses have been okay. They're kind of sparse. Like, I feel like the first boss you don't get until like I feel like I didn't get to the first boss until like 5 hours, and then I hit like the second and third bosses like relatively quickly after that. But yeah, so far I've been enjoying it. I think it's a decent Mario and Luigi game. Is it my favorite? I don't know. Time will tell. I really do like Bowser's Inside Story. I like how different Bowser's Inside Story is because it works in Metroidvania elements. Yeah, let's go with that. It works in Metroidvania elements, which is very weird, but I think it makes the game so much more interesting, and I like that Dream Team continued on with that idea, and then I hate that Paper Jam just completely abandoned it. Like, you should have been able to go into the paper world in Paper Jam, and that should have been like the 2D segments in Bowser's Inside Story, which I do like. I know some people don't, but I do. I don't know, I haven't played Bowser's Inside Story since it released. It's been so long. And my copy is actually glitched because of Action Replay. Like, once you get to the point where you unlock the blue shell, my copy does not progress. It's literally broken. Because, yeah. At least last I played it was. But that's been over 10 years now. It might not be broken. At least I'm not playing the remake. And yeah, that's it. That's all the games I got. I guess that takes us to the end. Yeah, we went for 2 hours. That's more or less what I expected. So, what's coming up in the near future? Again, Game Award announcements are next week. We'll talk about them in next week's show. Oh shit, I broke $1 million tonight. I just noticed that. So one of the things since, you know, the end of the season and everything, I've been working towards getting $1 million in this game. Because I've never done it before. I didn't do it in 1 or 2. At least I don't think I did it in 1. And yeah, there we go. $1 million dues. That's cool. I'm glad I did that. Am I going to immediately spin them all? Oh gosh, yes. Now, are we going to immediately use our dollar dues? Totally. But I'm glad I did it at least once. Nothing there, nothing there, nothing there. Yeah. Oh, there's a bunch more money. Instant deer. Got a coffee cup, don't need a skateboard, don't need any of that. Yeah. So yeah, we'll talk Game Awards next week. Other than that, I don't really have anything planned anytime soon. I thought about streaming Mario and Luigi, at least the first, like, few hours, you know, like we've done for some games in the past. It just didn't work out like that. It's fine. I thought about it like an hour into the game. Okay, we got the cap replica. And we still got to keep working to get the other piece, because I don't think we have the boots. This one's taken forever. I feel like we've done so many battles. I'm amazed we don't have all 3 pieces. Because I think it's only 2 battles. Splatoon 4, Splatoon Legends Cuttlefish, Splatoon 4088. I mean, based on that outfit, I think 4088 is the most interesting one. Oh, I am probably going to finally watch Arcane. Like, I'll be honest, I've never seen Arcane. I hate League of Legends. You know, there's nothing worse than League of Legends. Man, like, it's cancer. No, like, seriously, I've referred to it as cancer in the past. So I've heard a lot of good things about Arcane, but I've never actually watched it. But I kind of want to watch it. So I think I'm going to finally sit down and watch Arcane. I think it's just going to happen. I think I'm just going to finally do it. Because there are so many shows I need to watch. I need to watch that. I still need to finish Agatha, House of Harkness, or whatever the fuck it was called. I need to do, there's like a dozen other things. I watched the first episode of, Instant Fight Girl. It was okay. I enjoyed it. I definitely am going to have to watch more. Because, yeah, I saw it on HBO Max, and I was like, I think I remember hearing about this somewheres. Sure, I'll check it out. I don't know, there's a show I saw that's coming to Netflix next month that I was like, oh, that looks very interesting. What was it called? It was called... I'm gonna look it up real quick. It was called... Gentry Chu versus the Underworld. And it premieres on December 5th next month on Netflix. Looks super good. Highly recommend. Right, I'm super invested in that. I hope it's good. We'll check it out next month. But yeah, everything about that looks great. So yeah, yeah, there's so many things I need to watch, so many movies, so many TV shows. I'm behind on just everything right now. It's totally my fault. I will get it fixed eventually. But for the moment, So yeah, nothing's really coming up in the future. We'll be back next week for more of this. You know, so on and so forth. We're getting close to the end of the year. I mean, this is what, episode 45. So we've got, what, 5, 6, 7 episodes left in the year? That's actually still a fair number. Yeah, that's a pretty fair number. So yeah, we'll be back, and we'll continue onwards. Ooh. Yeah, no. And yeah, we got to do the Game Awards, because I got to get my monies out of this board emote. I don't use it nearly enough. I got to get my money out of it somehow. Because, oh, the Game Awards. Yeah, the Game Awards. So yeah, with that, I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Until next time, peace.